We're speaking today with Wharton marketing professor Barbara Kahn about her new paper, Anticipation of Future Variety Reduces Satiation from Current Experiences, which is essentially about marketing the future to improve the present. Thanks for joining us.
Sure, my pleasure.
Could you give us a summary of your research?
Well, what the research shows is that if you anticipate consuming future variety or a variety of things in the future, you will satiate slowly on what you're consuming now.
So this sort of sounds like the reason why we all overeat at a buffet.
Well, except overeating is consumption, and this is about eating the same thing over time.
Okay.
How fast do you get bored with it, or how fast do you satiate with it? And the reason it's interesting to marketers is, of course, marketers want you to eat as much or to consume as much as possible of their product. But the problem is, and this is not just for food, it could be for music or for anything else that you consume over time, the problem is when you consume a lot over time, you get bored or satiate. So is there a way to reduce the boredom so that you'll enjoy what you're consuming for a longer period of time? And what we found was that some of that boredom and satiation is cognitive. It's not all physical, that you're literally satiating on it. So that if we can encourage you to think about something in the future that's related to what you're consuming now that will offer more variety, then you'll satiate more slowly.
So in your paper, in the column about your paper, you introduced the example of yogurt. Could you explain that one? Because I think that helps to sort of clarify this.
Yeah, so, and here's like kind of where the managerial implications, so to speak, could say. Say you're eating vanilla yogurt every single day for lunch for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You can imagine over time you'd get bored with vanilla yogurt. So what can we do to make you less bored? Well, if you knew you went to Costco or BJ's or some warehouse and bought a whole pallet of yogurt, and it was all different flavors or some flavor different from vanilla, and you knew in the future you would consume that, it would make you satiate more slowly with the vanilla yogurt you're eating over time today. And that's the idea.
Oh, okay. So what are the implications then for retailers like Costco, for example?
Well, it says that selling a variety of things has a benefit over and above what you might think. Just having the variety in the refrigerator will make the enjoyment of a single flavor more pleasurable.
Okay. And what would you say was the biggest surprise that came out of this research for you?
Well, we've always known a lot about anticipation. So a lot of past research has shown that you should savor, the anticipation of something good. So there's an advantage of planning for a vacation. In fact, or a wedding or something that's really fun, you might actually enjoy the anticipation of the event more than the event itself. So that's something that's been shown before. But what's different about this research is that we show that anticipating variety in the future affects your current consumption. And that's different. And that's somewhat surprising because you wouldn't think just thinking about something in the future could affect how you're enjoying something today.
Yeah, one of the other interesting examples you brought up in your column that appeared in the AMA about this piece was the idea that maybe it's not always the best thing to keep, say, a surprise gift from a significant other. Could you explain that?
Keep it a secret. So the point is, if people can anticipate something that's going to happen in the future, it not only do you savor, the excitement of the future, but it also can affect your current consumption. And so that's a little counterintuitive.
So, for example, if someone's going to give someone a surprise vacation, knowing about it earlier helps you to anticipate that and actually enjoy something in the present, correct?
Right. So you're going to have a lot of varied activities. You're going to go skiing and, mountain climbing or whatever you're going to do in the future. So maybe you won't be as bored with what you're doing right now.
There's just all sorts of implications for this. What are you going to look at next, do you think?
Well, it's interesting to think about how consuming variety can affect things besides the utility you have for the variety. So one of the projects I'm working on with a doctoral student at Drexel University actually is how consuming variety can make you feel less guilty or more fulfilled when you're in a self-regulatory mode, which means when you're trying to control your weight or be more healthy, sometimes using variety as a cue for doing more of a good thing or less of a bad thing can alleviate guilt or credit. And that's kind of an interesting thing, that variety in and of itself can affect these other kinds of feelings or emotions.
Great. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. I really
Sure.
appreciate it. It's very
That was
interesting.
fun. Thank you.
For more insight from Knowledge at Wharton, please visit knowledge.wharton.upenn.edu.